The future, at least as it existed in the year 2000, in the mind of the most famous internet user, time traveler of this generation. Then he vanished, never to be seen or heard from again. Did he really travel back in time? Where did he come from? Continue watching until the end to find out. That person first connected to the internet in late 2000. A poster using the screen names Time Travel 10 and John Titor on various message boards, beginning with the Time Traveler Institute's forum, claimed to be a soldier sent from 2036, the year the computer virus wiped out the world. Titor's supposed mission to the past was odd, but perhaps its odd specificity was enough to make his story plausible to some. His mission was to travel back in time to 1975 and snatch an IBM 5100 computer that contained the necessary equipment to combat the future virus. His detour to the year 2000 was simply to get some R&R while visiting his 3-year-old self, ignoring every time travel story's fabric of time paradox rule. Unlike many others who have claimed to know the future, Titor claimed to have a working time machine. He called it a stationary mass temporal displacement unit powered by 2 topspin dual positive singularities, and said it was built into a 1967 Corvette in the Back to the Future style. Titor claimed that the car traveled through time by generating a standard offset Tipler sinusoid, a reference to the work of Frank J. Tipler, a controversial physicist who has published theories on human reanimation and the construction of a time machine. Tipler's theories are widely regarded as pseudoscience. Over the next 4 months, Titor responded to every question other posters had, poetically describing future events, always with the caveat that alternate realities do exist, and his reality may not be ours. Titor provided a number of technical specifications for how time travel worked, including overly complex algorithms and grainy, difficult-to-read photos of his actual machine, which of course was a car, a 1987 Chevy Suburban. He even flaunted his futuristic military insignia. March 24, 2001, Titor sent his final message. Bring a gas can with you when the car dies on the side of the road. Signed off for good and returned home. He was never seen or heard from again. Some people completely trusted John Titor. Others became obsessed with mistakes and inconsistencies, acting as digital detectives in search of the truth behind the story. Titor would end up in an animation studio in Japan, a wrestling ring in Pennsylvania, and a prison cell in Oregon before it was all over. But after that, none of Titor's doom and gloom predictions came true. He predicted a second U.S. Civil War, beginning with the unrest surrounding the 2004 presidential election, and progressing to a Waco-type event every month that gets steadily worse, before erupting into large-scale violence by 2008. The war would divide the country into 5 regional factions, lasting until 2015, and then, for unknown reasons, escalate into World War III. He, like Criswell before him, claimed that the capital would be relocated to the heartland. For Titor, that was Omaha, Nebraska, with Washington, D.C. being destroyed. Although the capital of what is unclear, with the country divided 5 ways. Titor also stated that the final Olympics would be held in 2004. Titor also predicted some interesting things that never happened. He claimed that in 2001, CERN, that's the European Organization for Nuclear Research, would create miniature black holes, laying the groundwork for time travel. He also suggested that UFOs were more advanced time machines from a far future than he claimed to be from. The black holes never materialized, but the jury is still out on UFOs. Long after many of Titor's predictions had come true, the Italian TV Voyager investigated him in 2008. The show hired a private investigator who discovered no evidence of a John Titor ever existing. He did, however, come across the John Titor Foundation, a company founded in 2003 with a P.O. box in Kissimmee, Florida. Many of Titor's stories took place in Florida, and he claimed to live there in the future. The Titor Foundation also published a book that year, John Titor, A Time Traveler's Tale, which is now out of print. The CEO of the Titor Foundation, an entertainment lawyer named Larry Haber, was discovered in 2009 by the website Hoax Hunter. Because Titor had very specific knowledge of the IBM 5100, it's likely that Titor and his predictions were created by either John or the two brothers together. Titor did get one thing right. The IBM 5100 can emulate and debug mainframe computers, so its value to future generations isn't entirely implausible. Titor's predictions ranged from geopolitical to scientific, though we're pretty sure Titor wasn't a time traveler. His claim that the many worlds interpretation was later proven to be incorrect. But how do we know there isn't a real John Titor out there, leaving a trail of predictive crumbs on some obscure message board? Physicist Robert Nemiroff and Teresa Wilson of Michigan Technological University have published a paper titled Searching the Internet for Evidence of Time Travelers, which proposes 3 methods for searching for evidence of time travelers on the Internet. They don't find anything. However, it's an intriguing idea to consider. There were 3 ways to find out if anyone had said those words earlier than they should have. The first was a simple Google, Bing, Google+, Facebook, and Twitter search, which revealed a blog post in which someone mentioned a future Pope Francis. However, upon closer examination and consideration, the authors wrote that blog post was deemed overtly speculative and not predictive. The second step was to look into what people were searching for on search engines like Google at the time. A time traveler may have attempted to collect historical information that did not survive into the future, or may have searched for a prescient term because they mistakenly believed that a given event had already occurred, or may have searched to see whether a given event was yet to occur. Nemiroff and Wilson wrote, the researchers also gained access to NASA's Astronomy Picture of the Day website stats and looked around to see if anyone ended up on the homepage after searching for Comet ISON. The third and final method was interactive, in which time travelers were asked to return in time and reveal themselves by tweeting or emailing one of 2 phrases, hashtag I can change the past too, or hashtag I cannot change the past too, on or before August 2013. 2 phrases were chosen because neither hashtag had ever been used prior to this study, and the researchers hoped that any time traveler who obliged would provide an answer to a fundamental question about how time travel actually works. But, of course, they did a hashtag search before revealing the request in September 2013, and no one appeared to have traveled back in time to tweet or email. What can we draw from this? Although the negative results reported here may indicate that time travelers from the future are not among us and are unable to communicate with us over modern-day internet, the researchers write, they are by no means proof. There could be a variety of reasons why there is no evidence left behind by time travelers, ranging from the physical impossibility of changing the past to them simply being very good at covering their tracks. It wasn't a thorough search either. All we know is that time travelers don't use Twitter or Google+ when they return. This may be the most sensitive and comprehensive search for time travel from the future yet, the researchers write. The truth may exist, but it requires further investigation. The great thing about time travel is that the story cannot be refuted. If events don't occur as predicted by the traveler, it's because the traveler changed the timeline. They simply do not believe that the human race will ever conquer time. Do you believe in John Titor's mystery? If so, why? Please share with us so that we can learn about you from a different perspective. That's all for now. Bye-bye and have a good day.